Dave today.
Hi everybody.
I'm lucky enough to have a helper with me today, Dave, who's a brand new Gypsy Jazz Club member who've just started playing this music.
Yeah, I've known Robin for many years and played the guitar, but he's finally coaxed me into coming along and giving him a hand. So apologies if I mess it up, but I'll do what I can.
It's great, and Dave's learning fast, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So welcome to the show. This is a live with Robin and Dave today. And today's live is all about Bossa Dorado. This is Bossa Dorado like a boss. And we're going to be going through a lot of the things, almost everything I know about this tune, Bossa Dorado. And make sure you've downloaded the PDF workbook. If you haven't got that, you can download it now. I'll be going through every lesson in that workbook. And so it'll be handy to have. So welcome everybody. When I look to my right here, I'm looking at the laptop screen, which has got all the lovely comments, and welcome everybody. Paul Dillon is in, Steve is in, Larry, people from all around the world. It's always an amazing feeling doing these. And don't forget, this is a great opportunity to ask questions. So if you want to know anything, don't be shy, ask a question here, and we'll do our best to answer it. So welcome everybody. Everybody got the PDF? Yeah? And if you need the PDF, I'm sure some kind member can post the link into the chat roll. And this is going to be great. So I think we'll kick off this Bossa Dorado like a boss by actually playing Bossa Dorado. Dave's just learned this tune.
Yeah.
So
I've learned it this afternoon. I've shredded my fingers so far. So.
Okay, here we go. So we're going to play just a chilled out version of Bossa Dorado. Then we're going to start the class, learn the chords, the melody, everything about this tune. So let's just play it now. Okay, right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Good, mate.
Thank you.
Okay, that was Bossa Dorado. And just a bit about this tune. I've been playing this tune, Bossa Dorado, since at least 20 years. I've played it in the rain under a tree on the square in Amsterdam. I've played it for the Beatles, and I've played it all around the world. And it's always a really good one. The audience always love Bossa Dorado. It's just got a great feel, a great arrangement, a great melody. And so I think it's a really great one to add to your repertoire if you don't know it already. And that's what this workshop will be all about. We'll divide it into 2 sections. In the first section, we'll learn the tune, and we'll go over the chords. We'll look at the rhythm, the melody, and we'll learn a kind of basic arrangement of Bossa Dorado. Incidentally, I've made a whole course around this. So right now in the club, there's a whole course with all the sections of Bossa Dorado broken down into bite-sized little videos. The workbook has got everything written out. So there's a lot to get on with this tune. So basically what we're going to do is go through the whole course in this hour session as much as we can. And that's it. And just remember, take it easy. And if there's one little bit of this lesson that you can learn, go for that bit. And maybe we'll start a Bossa Dorado challenge in the campfire where you could post just one thing you've learned from this lesson, okay? So don't be intimidated, start somewhere, and let's start with the chord sequence, okay? So, there's only a few chords. It's in D minor, right? So let's just go through the chords out of time first. We've got D minor, which is your first chord, right? And I usually just play it there on the 5th fret. The second chord is E7, right? You can play that E7 on the 7th fret. A lot of questions about how to memorize tunes, and one little bit of advice I can give is that every tune has maybe got a little bit something unique about it. And Bossa Dorados, it's that tune which starts on D minor and then goes to E7. So even if you just remember Bossa Dorados, the tune that goes from D minor to E7, it'll kind of trigger your memory and kind of get you going, because ultimately it's always going back to D minor. So we've got D minor, and then it's that tune that goes to E7, and then we're going back home via a minor 2-5-1. So that's E half diminished, right? There's that chord, E half diminished, A7, right? And that's just going back home, right? So already we know the A section, which is just D minor for 2 bars, then E7, 2 bars again. Now we're going home, E half diminished, A7 to D minor, right? Before we started, I saw a question from a gentleman who was asking about that chord, the E half diminished. And he said, what is that chord that's got the E and the circle with the cross through it? It's this chord. So it's just, right? So that's what we call either a E minor 7 flat 5. There's the E minor 7. But we've got the B is flattened. E minor 7 flat 5, or it's an E half diminished, right? That chord is always, practically always going home to D minor, because you don't stay on that chord. That goes A7 and always goes home. As far as the gentleman also asked, what arpeggio could you play over that chord? Great question. And I would play a G minor 6 arpeggio. I would go. So if you play the E half diminished, actually, if you just strum that, if you just kind of go like that, there's the E half diminished, okay? Now I'll play a G minor 6 arpeggio over that chord. Here we go. Works. So that's just to answer the guy who asked the question earlier about the half diminished chord. So yeah, the A section, we've already got it down, right? It's the form of this tune is A, A, B, A, right? So that twice, that section. The bridge goes into G minor, so just think we're going into G minor. And we go into G minor by playing A minor, half diminished, right? To D7, and then to G minor, right? So that's A half diminished, D7, into G minor, right? And then we're back to E7, right? E7, and then going back to D minor by the E half diminished, A7, and back to D minor. I think what I'm going to do now is go through the whole sequence and just strum the first beat of each bar. And I'll shout out the name of the chord, and you could play along, that would be great. And this is the way of kind of internalizing the changes, the chord changes, into our being. So we're hopefully not relying on the chart too much. And I think Dave's never going to forget this tune, because the hour before we started, we just went over and over and over it again. So that's kind of the way to do it, really. You just repeat it, and it starts to become familiar. All right, so let's go through the sequence, strum the first beat of each bar. And of course, when we're improvising, we need to know these chords too, right? So we got to think, what are we going to play over these chords? Billy says something. I'd like to gain the presence of mind to know to play the G minor 6 arpeggio over E half diminished. I think you have now, Billy, right? it sounds great. The G minor 6 arpeggio sounds great over the E half diminished. All right, here's the sequence. 1, 2, 3, 4, D minor, and again D minor. Now we go to E7, E7 again. Here's the half diminished, A7, and back home to D minor. Then a quick A7. Okay, second A, D minor, up to E7, and again, E half diminished, A7, and back home. This time we stay there on the D minor, A half diminished, we're going into G minor, D7, G minor, there it is. Back up to the E7, right, 2 bars, E half diminished, A7, now the last A, D minor, E7, and again E7, E half diminished, A7, and then back to D minor. Okay, so that's kind of a good way of internalizing the chords. So we're not actually worrying about the rhythm. All our brain and all our willpower is helping us to try and learn and memorize those chords. So now we have it memorized. Now we can kind of put the rhythm to it, okay? So the Gypsy Bossa, let me just show you, break it down a little bit, the rhythm for this song, and then we'll put the rhythm to those chords, okay? So we'll just keep it on one chord at the moment. I'll play it slow motion, then I'll break it down. So here's the rhythm. 1, 2, 3, 4. First action we've got is down, up, oh no, down, up, and then slap. Okay, so down, up, slap. And that slap either is actually physically your right hand on the strings in conjunction with the left hand coming up. So the strings are muted either way. So it's, okay, that's the first bit. Down, up, percussion. Down, up. And then you just carry on. Like that, and it's just ba-da, ja-da-da. There's no double downs, weird double ups, it's just like that. Right? So maybe, let's just try the D minor, and we'll just do that rhythm, okay? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Okay. The secret to getting the rhythm right is to kind of relax, not overthink it. It's kind of a little bit of a rock rhythm, this, because you've got the backbeat, so it's... So it's, you know, don't forget the backbeat on 2 and 4. Can everyone see? Randy said he lost the feed. Can everybody else see this video, this live video right now? Let me know in the chat, that will be handy to know. But let's go through the sequence using the... Oh, Dean says he can see us. Great. Perfect. Perfect. Okay, let's go through the sequence doing the Gypsy Bossa. Thanks for letting us know. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. D minor there. E7, E half diminished, A7, D minor. Now we go to the bridge. few little comments, a few worrying comments about not being on the club feed, but Billy says it is on the club feed. So hopefully you're actually watching this in the Gypsy Jazz Club. That is the point. Maybe others could confirm you can see it in the Gypsy Jazz Club. That would make us feel better. So so just to recap that Gypsy Bossa rhythm. And by the way, there's a whole lesson on the rhythm that you can concentrate on if that's something you want to get together. Okay, great. Joe can see it. 5x5, perfect. It's worth getting the feel right. Once you've got the feel right and you're relaxed with it, then you can just be groovy with the tune. Okay, great. So there we go. There's the chord sequence. There's the Gypsy Bossa. Now let's just look at the melody. I'm going to play the melody. I'm not going to teach note by note the melody in this live video. I think you can refer to the PDF and refer to the melody video to practice the melody. I want to use this for answering questions and to getting into the improv on this tune mostly, I think. So let's just play the melody. It's a very strong melody. And it's quite a nice one to learn. You know, it's kind of like it's a little bit technical, but it's a good challenge to learn the melody. Okay, so now I'll play the melody to the tune really slow, okay? So here we go. Like 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Basically that melody, when we're on D minor, we've got this, right, which is really kind of unique to this tune. You've got this bouncing back, then E7. And that's what's really beautiful about this tune. It's got that real nice, those interval E7, like that. The bridge just goes. Bridge is very kind of beautiful and simple. When you're learning the melody to this, refer to the PDF chart, make sure you've got the fingering right, and then look at that video which is in the course, the Bossa Dorado Like a Boss, and just repeat it over and over again, making sure you're just getting comfortable with the melody. I've recorded it nice and slow in the course, so it's a good video to practice with. Okay, some questions here. The feed is loud and clear. That's great to hear, Jeff. Hey, Robin, do you have any tips to develop speed to play the diminished line over the B flat, I think? There's a similar line in Made for Wesley. The line makes my fingers feel like clumsy sausages.
I know the feeling.
Yeah, I think we all know that feeling, Paul.
The top one there.
This one?
No, the top, right top.
Oh.
I think someone spotted how I'm playing there.
Oh,
There.
oh, there we go. I'll get back to that one, Paul. We got a question here from PGE. Can I do the rhythm with my nails instead of a plectrum? Dave?
Well, that's what I do. I find it very difficult to strum hard and fast with the plectrum, so I've always played that way. And yeah, Robin's happy with it, I think.
That's the thing. Dave just came around and I said, do you know Bossa Dorado? He said, no. And I said, do you want to learn it? Do you want to do the live thing? He said, yeah, okay. And then he started playing with the pick, right?
Yeah. When you get fast, it gets stuck between the strings, and the sounds, for me, sounds harsh, and some strings sound more accentuated than they should. So I went back to using my fingers.
That's really interesting. And you know, I'm all about whatever works for you. You know, I just want him to sound good and make me sound good, hopefully. And if his plectrum's getting in the way and it's getting clumsy for whatever reason, then that'll detract from everything. So when he put the plectrum down and he used his fingers, it kind of sounded a bit smoother and nicer. So I said, ditch the pick. So there's your question there. And then Dave says, I already wear my nails down even using a pick. Yeah, I know what you mean, Dave. Rami's in. Sorry for being late. You're excused, Rami. The question, Paul, I'm not sure exactly what lick you mean, Paul. Is it the one to go... Is it the one in... I think, I don't know, maybe I know what you mean. But I'm just going to carry on. As far as getting the speed, you know, just like that Made for Wesley lick, I literally just practiced it, like, I drove my family mad. I was just playing that lick over and over at home. And for me, playing fast doesn't come that easy. So I kind of really have to kind of muscle memory it and get it into my mind, what my fingers are trying to do, and hopefully sync it up. Play it really slowly. I know a lot of people say that, but it's kind of true. If you can play it, those kind of runs, if you can play them really in time and smoothly, slowly, that's the only way you're going to get it played fast. And then just kind of increment the tempo up slowly like that, Paul. That would be my advice. Good name for a band, the Clumsy Sausages. Okay, yeah, you have acrylic nails and can play hard. Great, go for it with your nails. Dean says, I have a similar experience with a rumba duo I was in. Sounded better with the pick. The main guy was good with adapting the style. Yeah. Jeff says, Dave, you're sounding great.
Thanks, Jeff. Thank you.
Finally, a compliment for Dave.
I always feel honoured to sit in a room. I mean, I've been able to do it for years. Just to sit in a room and watch Robin play, it's just, it's amazing.
Yeah. Well, actually, Dave, you were going to watch this at home.
I was.
But
he called me up, said, come round and give me a hand. I don't know, I hope it's working.
I think it's nice with another guitar player. So any questions for Dave, who's a kind of beginner with this style? Ask Dave something as well, see how he's getting on. Okay, so far, just recap. We've learnt the chords, right? We've got the melody. We're obviously going to learn the melody. And we've learnt that gypsy bossa. That's what we call it, the gypsy bossa. So next, oh yeah, one little lick which goes really well with the intro. And the intro has got this kind of like, let's play the intro. And then it's kind of got this stretch with the... So you've got that little stretch to do, which is kind of a nice feeling once you get it down. And then there's this James Bond lick that you can drop in the middle there. Again, the lick is in the chart, in the workbook, and you're just going, right, C sharp, E to C sharp. Okay, so let's just keep the intro looping around. 2, 3, 4. Basically the rhythm guitar and the lead guitar have got the same shape there. The rhythm's going more like the gypsy bossa. And the lead guy or girl is going kind of arpeggiating it a bit. So together it's a great start to this tune, and it always goes down so well with the audience. Okay, so intro, James Bond lick, we've learned the chords, the feel, the melody. Don't forget, we're going to start the Bossa Dorado Challenge in the forum, in the campfire. And it would be great if you learned just one lesson from this course. It might be the chords, it might be the James Bond lick, it might be the rhythm, it might be the melody, it might be one of the solos or a couple of the licks that we're going to look at in a little bit. Try and set yourself a challenge to record yourself, playing something that you've learned from this workshop. And It always inspires everybody else. Sims, is that Sims? I have a question about the up and down pick direction versus always using a downstroke when changing to a new string. Very common question, Sims. You're talking about gypsy picking, so-called gypsy picking, the rest stroke technique, where officially, as Sims says, when you change strings, so say I was going, say in that melody, right? I'm changing strings, so you start every new string with a downstroke. Otherwise, you'll be punished. I actually don't do that at all. I often do just by default or by chance, but I don't think about it at all. So the official rule is that every time you change a string, you start with a downstroke. So, we go. Which is all very well, and you get a better tone, definitely. The problem is when it gets fast, I think. It starts to become challenging, especially when you're coming down and you've got to play a rest stroke. But some people really get it. I know a few in the club, Jeff, Joe, the rest stroke gypsy picking kind of feels natural. I do it occasionally, but I've kind of got a weird kind of idiosyncratic way of playing. That's why I'm always encouraging people just to concentrate on the music. But hope that helps, Sims. So now, let me just look at the PDF chart, make sure we're not missing anything. So we've looked at the chords, we've looked at the intro. Don't forget all these sections, you can watch them on a dedicated video, so that really helps. James Bond Lick, we've just looked at that. The melody. How insensitive chords. This is a beautiful little move, which I often play with my brother. And when Dave's playing the rhythm for the A section, instead of playing the regular chords that I would play, D minor like that, E7 like that, E half diminished like that, I start with a D minor 9, over the D minor. When it goes to E, I go, right, I just play E with a G sharp in the bass. Right. When it goes to E half diminished, I play G minor 6. Right. This is what it sounds like. So if we just do the A section, I'll play the how insensitive chords. Again, it's in the chart. There's a whole video on it. 1, 2, 3, 4. This melody from Jobim called How Insensitive, and it's just it just happens to fit over the Bossa Dorado chords, and it's always a really nice one to do. Billy says, I've heard that the use of downstroke is designed to generate volume. Absolutely. If you're going to go, and more than a downstroke, Billy, it's resting. So it's like you play the string and then the hand falls through as a rest stroke. It rests on the next string. So it's like, just by doing that, it makes it louder. So good point. Dave says, so smooth and jazzy. Yeah, it is a bit smooth and jazzy, that. Okay, so there's the how sensitive chords. Let's go back to the workbook. Make sure we're on to the next thing now, which is going to be, the Hey Jude outro. Let's go over this quickly. So this is kind of a bit of a fun move. And if you're playing this song live or in a session, it's a really kind of nice thing you could go into, because the outro to this song is like the intro, and you just do this. Finish like that, going through the outro. I played it with Hank Marvin down in Australia, and he had this idea to play Hey Jude So it sounds like this, and it's just a little bit of fun. Again, the chart is in the book, and there's a video on it in the course. So just imagine we're on the last A of Bossa Dorado. We'll go to the outro, and then we'll switch to the Hey Jude.
Okay.
You'll see the effects. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Kind of a bit of fun there, and you just don't go in from the D minor. There you go. Dave has written it out. D major, da da da, C, G, back to D. So it's definitely a fun outro to this, and just like Jeff says, you could get away with playing a long version of this live. That's exactly what happened. Get the audience singing, and it's a lot of fun. Yeah, says Dave. Yeah, right on. So there's the Hey Jude. Let's move on through the book. We've got some solo and stuff coming up. Okay, scale for D minor. There's a lot of scales we can use. I just want to show you one which always sounds nice over D minor in Bossa Dorado. And that is D Dorian. And what that is C major. So for me that's easy because I'm not a big scale kind of guy, but I know C major really well. So I can play I know where C is all over the place. So if you kind of turn that a bit and start from D to D in that C major scale, then you've got D Dorian. So if I just think C major and play everything that I know in C major land, and Dave plays a D minor, then you can see how the scale works. So the scale is this, by the way, sorry. So there's your C major scale. Right, there's C major. If we just start from D, right, same notes. So now I'm not going to think D Dorian even, I'm just going to think C major, and Dave's going to play D minor. Let's see what it sounds like. So you could just strum first beat of each bar, maybe like 1, 2, 3, 4. Just thinking C major. Cool sound, and I honestly was just thinking C major. Sorry, I could obviously hear that he was playing a D minor, so my ears are looking for the notes in that scale, which kind of, like that note is you get the 6, right, which is a really nice sound. So just a little thing you could noodle around with that D Dorian scale or C major scale over the D minor. Check for questions. No dry land, it's all C. I love it. Stuart says, how is the G minor 9 in how insensitive chords a minor 9th instead of a minor 6th? Given that, you're right, it's minor 6th actually, Stuart. It's this. There's the 6th. So it actually is G minor 6, it's not G minor 9. Let me know where it says G minor 9, we can change that. Yeah. I fret, no I don't fret the high E on the 5th fret, no. I just, so the chord kind of sounds like that, but I'm just playing like that. It has got the 7th. but it hasn't got the 9. But yeah, nice point, Stuart. Where are we? We're going to E7 now. So we've got a scale for D minor, scale for E7. So this scale works, A minor harmonic. This is a good one, which I use all the time to play over a dominant 7th. All I'm doing is taking the A minor, right? That scale, A minor harmonic scale. Okay, and playing that scale over the, right? And obviously, dwelling on the fact that you bring out that kind of Middle Eastern sound. And if Dave plays an E7, I'll just play the A minor harmonic scale. 2, 3, 4. It's got that sound. Right. So A minor harmonic is one way of playing over E7. Now the next scale we're going to look at is what we're going to play over the 2/5, so over that E minor 7 flat 5 and A7. And that's these chords, E half diminished, A7, which is in the sequence obviously. And here we can already start using a D minor harmonic. So this scale, right, that scale will work over E half diminished, A7. So if Dave just plays like 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'll put the D minor scale to it. So obviously that works over that bit. The only other scale which is handy in this piece is for when you're going into G minor in the bridge, you've got A half diminished, D7 to G minor, and then you can use the G minor harmonic, right? So if I play through Bossa Dorado now with Dave, I'll just only use those scales so far, okay? And here we go. Billy says, does the A minor harmonic work in other tunes too, like the E7 and minor swing? Absolutely, 100% yes, Billy. It's a really good thing to know that if you want that sound over E7, right, whatever the tune, wherever it is, then right, the A minor harmonic scale will give you that sound, whatever the tune is called. So absolutely. Let's play through Bossa Dorado, and I'll just use the scales. I maybe just strum the first beat. Try it like that.
Okay.
Or you want to play the rhythm?
What is it?
All right, here we go.
Okay. Do you want rhythm?
Yeah, go on then.
Okay. You can call it out and time it.
Okay, so we're going to start with the Dorian on D minor, A minor harmonic on E7, D minor harmonic on the A7. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. A minor harmonic. Right. Trying to make the scales not sound like scales. Taking a break. Here we go. know, if that helps, just thinking about those scales, then I've just shown you that as well before as well.
Yeah.
It's a good place to start. We don't obviously want to sound like we're just going like. So.
At the moment, I'd be quite happy to sound like that, by the way.
Yeah, so it's definitely a good place to start. Just kind of use the backing track and play those scales. No one else is listening, so it doesn't have to sound like music. Just kind of hear how they sound over the chords, and then slowly your imagination will start to make music out of the scales. That's the idea. Let's carry on. Questions, please, for me, for Dave. We're here for you. This is Bossa Dorado, Like a Boss. And don't forget, set yourself a little challenge from just one aspect of this masterclass from the course. Just think, I want to learn the James Bond lick. I want to do the chords. I want to do something. Even if it's just the scale over a chord, just gun in on one aspect of this course. Arpeggios. I'm going to have to be quick here because we've also got solos. So one D minor arpeggio I use is just. So when I'm personally playing over D minor, I see it from the root there. Right, that's the kind of easy one, natural. Another place I like to start is on the minor third on the F, and I go. So just that position, that kind of inspires some moves, and the same thing like that is starting. See how I'm starting on a minor third there. These three arpeggios are written out in the book, and these are kind of springboards really. Again, you're not always just going to go, but just having that kind of outline will kind of give you a bit of confidence. Think like solo number one, which you'll hear in a second, goes right. That's just notes from the arpeggio. Mm-hmm. So it gives you a little bit of confidence to get into improvising really. And you're kind of new to improvising in this style.
Very new to it. Yeah.
So
but I'm trying. But I'm working on the arpeggios and stuff. And so.
Yeah. As far as E7 goes, remember Bossa Dorado is that tune that goes from D minor to E7. Don't forget that E major can work. Don't get too complicated with arpeggios, but just the basic. That is often a shape, just like that D minor, that will give me kind of a springboard to other things. But that's the basic, just E major, from that triangle. Right. Another area is, let's just kind of highlight the seventh, you can hear. There's the D. Like that, sounds really good. And the third E7 that we've got in this masterclass and in the book is diminished. So I showed again, Dave, just before, you've got your E7 there, right, on the 7th fret. If you just take the diminished shape, just falls under your fingers. That's the sound that you're going for, right, over E7. And then you can play any arpeggio or lick stemming from that diminished chord. So. The basic one is just. There was a nice one that Jimmy Rosenberg did a couple of months ago, which was not too crazy. Was just going. If you just play E7 like. Jimmy did this. Quite like that. 7 ideas. Refer to the course, right? Each video is chunked down, so you can just concentrate on that. Let's check harmonic minor. Randy says harmonic down, diminished up. Yeah, that works. Stokolo-Rosenberg, exactly. Very cool. So there's E7 arpeggios, because these are the chords that we're dealing with in this piece. Hot solo number 1. I've written 2 solos for you, which kind of take it beyond just scales and arpeggios and licks, but kind of make a musical solo, which is a really good thing to do if you want to kind of learn improvising in this style. It's all written out. I'll play it for you, solo number 1, and maybe it's something which you could set yourself as a challenge to learn. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So that was, you'll see it in the book, it's called Hot Solo number 1. I tried to make that one kind of melodic, not really lots of highly technical phrases. It just goes, you can hear how it fits over the chords nicely. It's got a couple of nice licks in there, and definitely if you kind of, learning to improvise in this style, it's a good one to learn. Dean says nice. Thanks, Dean. So, and then I wrote another one which is a little bit more technical, and it's also got that really cool diminished pattern that you hear all those guys playing, which always sounds like, oh my god, what's that? So it got a bit of that in the solo. So this is Hot Solo number 2, and it goes like this. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Melodic so far. Bridge now. So you could hear it had that pattern, which is really impressive and actually quite easy. It's all written out in the chart there. Love the double stops. Yeah, good point on the double stops, Dean. That's a lick from, actually it leads in nicely to this next. Hot lick number 1 is actually a lick from Stokolo-Rosenberg, but it's not a scary lick. It goes like this. Right, so it's exactly that, like Dean was saying, those double stops. And we're on D minor, and then we're just taking the D and F. Right, and you don't have to change finger position, you can go. So it's kind of really easy, the fingers stay in the same position, and you just kind of, and you can just fiddle around with it. If Dave plays the rhythm, you can just sound like this, 2, 3. just sounds really pretty, doesn't it? Hot lick number 2. That's a really kind of, I was just looking at that. It's got this lick. It takes a lick from the D minor major sound, right? Which you could, you know, that chord there, which is quite easy to remember because it's just a diagonal. You're going for the F. And that's a nice kind of, obviously a nice D minor major sound. But if you arpeggiate that chord and aim for the A, you get this really nice sound. Right? Right. And that's what lick number 2 is. Basically from that. And it just sounds nice in any tune when you play an over minor chord. You know, if you're in E minor, it's just got a slight kind of nice little twist there to the minor sound. Hot lick number 3 is kind of quirky. Basically, it's a D minor arpeggio, so right, just starting on the A. And then what's kind of quirky about it is the C sharp. Da, da, da. You kind of go da, 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 da. So, right, you got this kind of sound. Even if you just go from the B, C, C sharp, if Dave plays D minor, you can hear that effect. 2, 3, 4. You got that sound. Right, quite a nice sound. Bouncing off the A, you get quite a nice sound. That's hot lick number 3 that you'll see in the PDF workbook. Yeah, almost a West Side Story thing, yeah. John says, I'm starting to see a few motifs that Robin uses in different ways. It's very helpful to see them in different keys. I haven't the nature just to practice in all keys without context. Yeah, definitely. It's definitely, you know, I don't go from like C, D, all the keys. I just practice over tunes. So the tunes will bring you the key. So if you play Forciphora, you're suddenly in E minor, so all these things that we're learning in D minor will obviously go up 2 frets and it will work. Paul says, Sims, please post your mandolin version if possible. Would love to hear it. Yeah, totally. Sims is great. If it's the Sims from Harmonious Whale, then Sims is a great musician and a great friend, and he's here. It's unbelievable. Well, once again, I'm inspired, says Twister. Nice one, man. That's the whole point of this, right? I want you to go away and learn one of the things in this course. Just pick one and go for it. El Bendy. That's my nickname for Sims, Bendy. It is indeed Sims. Beautiful. I know Sims likes to play Bostorado as well. So let's just get back to the book. The time goes like crazy when we're going through all this stuff. Gypsy Kings chords. This is something which I use a lot in my solos. Also known as crispy chords, but in this context of Bossa Dorado, I call them Gypsy Kings chords. It's kind of got a Gypsy Kings rumba feel. So I'll play them and then I'll show you the chords I'm using. So just play the rhythm and I'll play the Gypsy Kings. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. kind of chords. You know, for D minor, I'm just using D minor 9, kind of sliding the pinky up and down like that. Then going a fret below the diminished. Remember, we looked at the doing the same thing, bringing out the melody on top. When it goes to the A7, basically, I'm going right again, melody. Then back to the D minor. Kind of giving it a bit of like that kind of thing, and it gives it that kind of rumba gitana kind of feel, which is really suits this song. Wow, I can't believe it. We've actually got through all the lessons, all the points in this. We haven't gone into depth on all these points, but I think this should inspire you to pick one of these lessons in the book, in the course, in the videos, and just gun in on it. You know, get some scales down on Bossa Dorado, or learn a couple of those licks, or go for hot solo number 1. That's a good one. Go for the rhythm. You know, just get that gypsy bossa rhythm going. Learn the chords, memorize the chords to Bossa Dorado. Larry says this is like a great big cool riff buffet. I like it, man. Yum, loved it. Another great motivating lesson. Oh, yeah, you're welcome, man. Billy says, great work, Dave. Hope Robin's buying you a few beers.
Yeah, I hope so.
He deserves it.
Thank you.
How about giving it up for Dave here? Yeah. Dave, who's just stepped in.
Thanks for your patience, everybody. I hope I've done all right. It's been loads of fun.
Yeah.
Hopefully I'll get to know more of you as time goes on, because I'm a member of the club now, so thank you again.
Dave's just joined and he's just starting to get into it, start to learn some tunes, and he lives down here in Spain. And thank you, Dave. Lots of Daves.
Thank you.
Yeah. Nice job, Dave. That's great. Oh yeah, can you just jam on it for a while? Yeah, let's jam to take it out. Thanks everybody. We really feel the great vibes here, honestly. And it's a real pleasure to be able to do this. But let's jam on.
A lot of nice comments there, thank you.
Yeah. Neil says, well done, Dave. Who's the other bloke? I don't know. Okay, so I'll tell you what. I'd like to dedicate this piece of music to Bob Stone, who left us last week. So should we play one for Bob? This is for Bob. Bossa Dorado for Bob, the boss. Damo says, great stuff. Thanks, Robin and Dave. R.I.P. Bob. Absolutely. Dave says his lighter is going. He's gone like that.
Oh,
Turnstiles say, what an awesome way to spend Friday. Totally agree with you. Great, guys. Well, that was Bossa Dorado Like a Boss. In 2 weeks' time, we're doing a Zoom session, an open session where we can join on Zoom and see each other, see how we're getting on with Bossa Dorado, right? So we'll do a Zoom catch-up this time in 2 weeks in the Always Open in Bob's Bar in the 24/7 Zoom room, okay? So thanks so much for your kind comments. It really means a lot. Thanks to Dave, thanks to Robin, all your lessons, been playing this tune for a while and digging the new gems in this lesson. What a great way to start the day. He's in California.
Yeah.
So I'll just get up. So thank you, everybody. Lots of love. Stay inspired, and we'll talk soon. Cheers.
thank you.